All right, from that story, the head of state, Mr. Bushebi, was at pain to explain kidnappings, deaths, and he was hardly pressed to shed light on the state of sanctioned abductions and corruption in government. And in 2022, in his inauguration speech, President William Ruto underscored the government's commitment to stop extrajudicial killings in the country. And when you look at in the past 2 weeks in the country, there have been abductions of youth activists, including the son of Attorney General Leslie Muturi, the Kenya School of Law President Joshua Okayo. And I'm very curious your views, so particularly that part. Is the Kenya Kwanza government preaching water and drinking wine? Because the president comes out and says those were not abductions, they were arrests. Is the Kenya Kwanza government really drinking water and preaching wine?
The geopolitical, socio-economic context in retrospect, when the president was saying those things that he said regarding, giving abductions a different name
as arrest.
The president wanted to achieve a pacification of his clean hands, like show Kenyans that he is aware of what has been going on.
Even the president said when he was asked about the youths who have died during the protest, and he said his hands are clean, they're not stained by blood.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. He's trying to tell Kenyans, I'm aware of everything that is going on, but we can still pacify it. We can still wash it with the blood of changing over terminologies. All we need to do is stop calling them abductions and call them arrests, period. And that is the easiest way to pacify the whole situation. So as Kenyans, you can continue calling them abductions, but as the government, we have baptized, yes, we have baptized the whole situation and we call them arrests. On the issue of Kenyans who've died as a result of police brutality, President was categorical from the beginning. President William Ruto is an alumni of ICC.
Yes.
Yeah. So he understands how these things work. And he knows that any police who kills somebody out there can easily, the blame can easily go directly to the president. And so he had to make sure that according to the constitution, the buck stops at the IG's office. And so the IG has to take the full responsibility, yes, not the president. That is why, and he made sure that was clear from the time he came into office. He said he was not going to have anything to do with the security, especially the internal security issues and giving directions or controlling the accounts. He even signed, I think, an order or something where he, the IGs and those security bosses became the signatories of the accounts, and so they take full responsibility for that. So when he says that his hands are clean, to an extent, he's looking ahead and seeing a possibility if there's a massacre or if there's any human rights violation in this context of protesting and Kenyans fighting for their rights. He's not going to be taken to ICC. Instead, it's the IG who will carry that cross. And so he's being very careful with the choice of his words, because, like I said, he's an alumni of ICC. And so he knows exactly how you can easily be implicated in these matters. Nevertheless, he's not off the hook, because at the end of it all, it is his government. The IG works in his government. The IG is under the president.
Yes.
And so at the end of it all, he is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. He's the head of state. He's the president. Everything stops at his desk. So he still has questions to answer. What I found funny was the fact that he wasn't empathetic, especially on the protesters who lost
the
their
shootings
lives
in Parliament.
and to make it worse, the innocent children that were shot in various places in the country, and he seemed not, or he acts as if he's not even aware whether they're alive or dead, or it seems like government doesn't really care about that. The government only cares about the perimeter wall of Parliament. It only cares about the businesses. Only cares.
They don't care even about the lives of Kenyans.
Yes. So that one came out a little bit as a narcissist, somebody who really blood doesn't scare this kind of a person, but you know what scares this person is fire that burns bread somewhere, or fire that burns a wall down. You know, that's what really matters. But the life of a human being, you know, that one is not really an issue, and especially a child. And you remember, a child is the future of the nation.
Yes.
And you know, what about the bringing to books of maybe the policemen who were involved in these atrocities? He said nothing about it, and but he was so categorical on those who he says criminals in quotes.
Yes, who are going to Parliament to the armory.
Yeah, I mean, he says there's CCTV evidence of the same. There's also CCTV evidence of police abductions and murders and stuff. But he's focused on bringing to books these guys who are seen on camera entering Parliament, but doesn't care about perhaps maybe the evidence of police shooting people, innocent people who are unarmed civilians just fighting for their
Even
lives.
the police who are abducting most of the youth, they are plain clothes.
Yeah.
How can you abduct someone surely and put them in a lorry?
The plainclothes policemen are allowed. But the Constitution requires that before you arrest somebody, you need to identify yourself and give the reason as to why you come to arrest me.
Yes.
But that is never the case in Kenya. In Kenya, you're just ambushed and that's it. And they will call it arrest, whatever, abduction. So there's that confusion with the implementation of the Constitution, what the Constitution says. And so you don't know whether you're being abducted by policemen or you're being abducted by goons. You don't know which is which.
Yes.
Your enemy perhaps maybe will just decide to abduct you, and you know, you don't know whether it's policemen or your enemies. You don't really know what is going on. So the country is on a red alert, where if somebody goes missing, everyone has to make noise.
Yes.
For it to be known whether it is the police who have the person or the goons. You don't really know, like there's no law. you don't know. And so listening to the president in this issue, seems like he's been overwhelmed with these matters.
Yes.
Yeah, he seems to not, doesn't look like a person who is thinking straight so much on these issues. On one hand, you have your line of defense, which is the police.
Yes.
And the armed forces, and you're trying to be careful not to intimidate them or gaslight them to turn against you. On the other hand, you have the wananchi who have already turned against you, and so you have a choice between your protectors or wananchi. And so I think he made a choice to
choose the
police officers, because they are the ones who, it's his line of defense.
Yes.
They protect him. They protect the government and they implement orders from the government. And so with wananchi, your issues
we can
will
compromise.
we'll sort them out later. That's what I saw in the whole discussion.
Well said, Mr. Bushebe. The president has